Kia ora, my stars. I hope you're all well today. Let's quickly have a look and see what the month of February has got for us. We can all admit that January was loud in our minds, and I think we're going to be feeling it in our body fields in February. We might feel more tired, more selective, more withdrawn, more filtered. I think there's going to be a little less reaction. There's going to be a little bit more containment. I don't think we're going to see a lot of headlines in this month. I think there's going to be a lot of restructuring in this month. So yes, let's have a look. We're going to look at some global economics. We're going to see if we can touch on geopolitical issues. Anything comes up that relates to New Zealand, the US, EU, and if there's any environmental triggers or anything in those lines. And I think we just need to ask ourselves not what is going to happen, but what is being engineered, what is being conditioned, and what is being normalized. So let's have a look and see what the cards have going to say. Let's quickly do the final shuffle. Cards are probably reading me now. Dear cut. Let's have a look what the cards say. Tarot, what have you got to tell us? Tarot, what have you got to tell us? Two of Pentacles, or I'd say balancing. Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, Justice in reverse, Ten of Wands in reverse. Let's have a look. Let's analyze these first. The Two of Pentacles here upright in February tells me that there is going to be balancing acts happening with money, with economics. And this is going to be on global growth, global projections. And are they steady? Yes, but it might be fragile. I think there might be some interruption with logistics, transport, deliveries, and that might all be linked with all the tariffs and everything that is happening. There's also going to be, I think, investment shifts. There might be some technological disruption. And I don't think this is all going to help with consumer confidence. And I think there's going to be more of a consumer erosion. But things are being weighed up. Things aren't going to be fireworks, but things are being weighed up. And I think it is just a case of trying to balance things and keeping things propped up. If we look here at the Queen of Pentacles, there's still going to be strains on money, and I think also there's going to be some strains on nature as well. And I think this is relevant to New Zealand because we've just had these floods again, and we've also had that major slip at Mount Maunganui where sadly some people have lost their lives. Thoughts and prayers with those families. They're still in the recovery process, but this has already sparked a whole discussion and debate on how we need to relook at climate and resources and how we actually manage things, because things are going to get worse, I think. This is also showing me that there might be still an ongoing weakness in business confidence, especially when it comes to the global trade. And then also the dependency on export commodities. And this tells me almost like some European countries are actually calling in their gold reserve from the USA. I know Germany is, I know Denmark, I think, is going to be doing it, and there's some other countries. And then we also have a look at big companies like BlackRock that has divested a lot of their portfolios to the Asian markets, as well as Europe that's looking at Asian markets. So I think what we were used to, what the grounding that we were used to, is going to be a shift. But it's a little bit more of a resource exhaustion within the functional systems. So the Seven of Pentacles upright here, people are still assessing outcomes. They are trying to see what the harvest is going to bring. And this relates to tariff shifts and the strategic discussions that is happening worldwide. And I think it also tells me here, if I look at New Zealand, that our economy is bottomed up. We're right at the bottom of the economy. And there is projection that there might be growth, but we don't know. And I think this all relates to the fact that there are midterms coming up in the USA, and there's also the national elections here in New Zealand. So things are a little bit unstable at the moment, and we're waiting to see what is going to come from that little seed. And I think most of these elections will start really swinging into place in the next 7 months. So I think in the next 7-8 months, we will probably start seeing a little bit of a direction which way certain things are going. Then this Justice card here is telling me that there's a lack of confidence, that there is a lack of trust, domestically as well as internationally. And people aren't feeling that things are fair at the moment. And fairness is lost in the process. And this has all got to do with the political and economical hardships at the moment. And I also think that this card is telling me that there's going to be a definite shift in the political system, most probably, both here in New Zealand and probably in the USA. I'm not too sure what's happening in the EU currently with certain things, but there is definitely going to be some shift or the other in the political field, which is probably going to be bringing back a shift in the economy as well. This 10 of Wands here is telling me that there is sort of like a consolidation. What we always worked together for, and the burdens we carried together is now basically flailing, and where it used to be spread out, we are now consolidating it, and we are bringing it all closer to home. So I think this is to do with the EU basically trying to become stronger, setting up their own systems, and also consolidating and finding other markets, and not relying on too wide a spread old reliances, old burdens, old worries. It's letting go of things that are constantly nagging and for the last 10 years have basically been a burden upon them. And I think that is where they are looking at going. So, and this is a release of those burdens. Let's have a look here. What is next? Balance. 5 of Pentacles. King of Cups in reverse. What shall I say? A Temperance. This card reflects self-regulating and intelligence. I think people are waking up to what is going on there. And this affects also people waking up what is happening with climate. And that is why it's sitting underneath this Earth card here. People are waking up with what is happening within the climate, and people are going to start seeing how can we balance things, how can we make things better. And if you have a look here, there's a lot of water, and not just here in New Zealand, but all over the world, there's been lots and lots of flooding. How can we actually prevent all these floods from happening? What do we need to do? And I think these floods is Mother Gaia's way of telling us that we need to start taking notice. She is making us take notice of not taking care of nature, not balancing us with nature. We need to get back to our heart and to our minds, and we need to start balancing. Otherwise, water is going to continue being a major, major issue for us. This 5 of Pentacles is telling me here that people are still feeling out in the cold. People are still feeling the scarcity. They are feeling that it's real. And it is to do with business confidence that is down, people losing their jobs, people losing life insurance, people losing wages, people concerned about wages not going up, people concerned about losing their homes and being out in the cold. Because the big banks, the big corporations don't care about that. They don't care about the small person. They just look after themselves. So that is the sentiment that I see is coming through. But people are pulling together and they are deciding, you know what, we're not always going to stay out of the cold. We are going to be balancing here. And they are focusing more on the day-to-day than in big transformative things. Let's just get through February and let's have a look and see what's going forth. This King of Cups here in reverse is telling me that people are carrying a lot of emotion within themselves, and with carrying this emotion within themselves, it is really going to bubble over if something doesn't change. But this King of Cups here is also telling me that it is leaders that are emotionally detached from the reality in the world out there, and how people are really feeling out there. And that is where I think this is sitting with underneath the justice, because this justice is telling us that things aren't fair at the moment. Things are not fair and balanced, and there's some change coming, and it's because of the apathy within the political system and people not looking out for the poor. Look at them looking back at the poor, looking back at them at how things are trying to be balanced and need to be balanced, but it's in reverse. Next card, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse. Look how all these line up with each other. But let's look at the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is telling me that people are feeling insecure at their work. People are feeling insecure. They feel like they are just going through the motion, and they are not sure if going through the motion is actually going to give them the stability that they need. They feel like they are losing control of their stability and their security on that little wooden bench that they are sitting on. And it's so true. I mean, the amount of people that have lost work and the amount of companies that have closed in New Zealand this year alone is unreal. It is unbelievable. The amount of people that I see that are tradespeople, the trades industry that is so badly affected, how the trades and the construction industry has been affected. And I think this is still going to continue. I think, almost wanting to say for the next 8 months maybe. I don't want to make predictions. I'm not a financial guy, but the cards tell me maybe for the next 8 months. So if we can hang in there for the next 8 months. This Hierophant here is really, it is people losing, it's systems and authorities and governments that are losing control. And people are breaking away from that framework, what the old was. They are moving away from the old hierarchy, the old systems, and they are saying we need something new. We need new alliances, and that doesn't just go for locally here with us, but also not the USA. It's also looking at the European Union and Canada and stuff that is looking for other alliances as well. We can't rely on what was always there. We cannot rely on the powers that be that was always there and telling us what to do, because that is now led to us not feeling in line, and they are losing control, and that is why we need to prevent chaos from coming forward. Let's have a look here. The Hermit. The Hermit card is telling me here that we are needing to go back to our wisdom. We need to look within ourselves. We almost want to say that we want to go into retreat a little bit and recover from all the chaos and all the noise that has been out there. And we are looking for wisdom, and we are looking for a guiding star. We are looking for somebody to lead us to a better situation. If you have a look here, how these are all going in a line. The people are going within themselves and doing research within themselves, awakening their own critical thinking, not just going on what was always, because they have realized that we need to secure work, we need to rebalance Earth, and there's a balancing act happening. And we can actually tip the scale, but we need to move inwards within the Hermit. And it is almost creating an awareness within ourselves. So this month of February, do some maintenance, do some balancing within yourself, do some restructuring. Look at what no longer serves you. Go and have a look and see who you can trust, which politician, which entity can you trust with what they are actually saying. It is an engineering month. It's a month to start positive things. It is a system recalibration. And people need to start adapting internally. We need to lower the emotional noise and less drama. Less just believing what is being spewed out to us, and look at it more procedurally, look at it more analytically. More adaptation, less jumping the gun and jumping into engagement. And this is how February is actually going to prepare us for a larger shift that is going to be coming. And it's not going to be a shift that is going to be announced. It is just going to be feeling normal. And as I said, if you feel tired, go and rest. Because you need to filter. You need to reassess. You need to recalibrate. And just know that if you retreat, it's not a personal failure. It is the environment at the top here that is telling you that your attention is sacred, that your energy is becoming a resource. Rest becomes what governs everything else here. It's not withdrawal. It is a recognition of what is on our doorstep, what the threshold, what the shifts are. It asks you to perceive almost what is draining you, what is stabilizing you, what is feeling artificial, and what is feeling real, and what restores that equilibrium, that coherence. And this month is going to be a month of adaptation, not of event. It's adapting. So prepare, regulate, protect your space, protect your sleep. Systems are busy, but our nervous system is the real frontier. There's going to be lighter headlines this month. There's going to be quieter than algorithms, and it is going to be slower than systems, I think. And we're going to turn back to self-governing. And let's have a look what the underlying was here. Ten of Cups in reverse. Currently, still in February, we are not going to feel that homeliness, that family feeling, because of all the noise that we have experienced. But that is why we need to regulate and we need to return to systems of normality. It's going to take us a while to get that happiness that we have, because we are all feeling the noise of January. But it's going to take us a while. So I would say just focus on that. Focus on recalibrating so that we can get back to that. It's not too bad. Families are still together, but they are looking towards something that is lying underneath. There is some happiness underlying everything else. Grow spiritually. Because, as I said, this is not going to be a month that is going to be ruled by gaslighting. We are going to start being discerning here. We are not going to let these people here, the Hierophants and the Cups, King of Cups and the Justice, rule us and tell us what choices to make. Because here it's basically directing us on what to do and how to do things. But here we are making the choice not to be gaslit. We are not going to be gaslit. And let's quickly have a look here. One last message for the collective that wants to come out. Hangman, what did the reading just tell us now? Take a moment, rest. Look at things from a different perspective. Don't look at it in the old ways. Because we are able to release ourselves from the old ways here by literally leaning up and undoing the tie around the 1 foot. We are not fully bound. We are just hanging by 1 foot. And our hands are not tied up behind our backs. We have got the capability of releasing. So take that moment, look at things from a different perspective. And if you enjoyed this reading, please like, share, and follow. And thank you very much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. And this is my reading for the February 2026. Like, share, and I'll see you online again, my friends. I love you lots. Have a great day.